Hey guys, this is Debatra. The day of the king is upon us. It is 7:28 a.m. on the 28th day of the 7th month. And so, with little more to say on the matter, today is a marathon of the Chazot Mythos games, made by Yahtzee Croshaw several years ago. I'm no longer as obsessed with these games as I once was, but, well, it's still a nice little thing. I hope to maybe make an annual tradition of it. Maybe not. Once those 4 games are done with, I'll be playing The Consuming Shadow, more or less just until I get tired of streaming it. So, without much further ado, going to put myself back into big screen mode because I can't move the mouse out of frame with these games. Good thing I tested a few minutes earlier. Yeah. You like my Gravity Rush wallpaper? It's new. Please don't fuck up too much. There we are. I know what it is. Yeah, this intro really does kind of get into it. Defoe Manor. Completely deserted. And completely without a visible ravine. Gonna be playing without commentary for the sake of anyone who has not played this game before, and oh dear. It appears I made one minor mistake. Don't worry, nothing irreparable, just have to... I wonder how that looked. Yeah, the game window is very small, and I'm running it in full screen. Ooh, how am I gonna handle this? Oh, okay. Now I know exactly what I'm gonna do with this. There we go. Try to line that up. Yeah, close enough for me. Now, hopefully, yes, chat is visible. Chat is now visible on my other monitor. Maybe it would have worked if I'd separated them. Well, it's working. Now I just can't see OBS. Now, fair warning, it has been quite a while since I played these games. Yes, longer than a year. In fact, oh, I do still have that. Merciful as it may be, I'm not going to use this. This is a point and click, but my hand just automatically went to WASDA. Okay, how about this? Fair enough. How about this cabinet? Books? Fair enough. How about a fancy chair? Well, I mean, maybe not through the window. Oh, come on. I'm sure you could take them to a decent forger. Get yourself some... something. I don't know. Leave? You just got here. One safe and that's it? Oh, you sorry fool. Also, this Easter egg. It's a door. Still a door. Another one. I'll try not to blast through these games too fast. I wonder if there are actually enough doors in Defoe Manor. Like, that would be an interesting thing. That would be an interesting thing to play with if I hadn't already started it. A fountain of night. Lovely. Hinges? I believe that's the last one. Maybe there's one last stop it message. Nope, it just starts over after that. Good old Clarence, the least known to Defoe, aside from the ones that have no names. Yes. Belinda. Yeah, you have to go all the way back down here when you want to change. And there is a borderline useless walk function when the hands and the eyes and even the talk command will all work just as well. But yeah, 90% of the game you want to just default to the hands. Yes, thief. Take your mask off at the first sign of witnesses. I wonder what the speed run of this game looks like. And no, I'm not going to attempt it, at least not today. Dun 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 dun. thanks for that. Call the police. Although I'm pretty sure this one actually does have a unique look description. Yep. Oh wait, couldn't you? No, scroll wheel does not do anything. The one other function is right click. Walk, look, use, talk, save, load. We have to read this newspaper and pretty much every other scrap of lore available at some point, so might as well start. Sir Clarence Defoe, last of the long-running Defoe line, was found dead yesterday in his home. Defoe, 24, was found hanging from a tree in the front yard of Defoe Manor. A tree that, from the title screen, has apparently been chopped down since, and very thoroughly removed the stump. His recent bride, Julia Swanson Defoe, was also found dead in the mansion, apparently stabbed to death. Inspector Jacob Barnes, the officer in charge of the investigation, has closed the case. There's no mystery here, he said. Defoe killed his wife and then himself. We've already disproved the possibility of a third party. Sir Clarence's solicitor, Michael Cheech, and his partner, Jacob Chong. Sir Clarence's solicitor, Michael Chesham, however, has gone on record questioning the inspector's judgment. The last I saw Sir Clarence, he was infinitely content. He would never have committed such an act. Plus, there was no suicide note. And it clicked me completely out of the inventory. That's interesting. Whatever. Yes. I suppose I could go exploring, but there's no particular need to at this moment. Matthew Defoe, circa 1818. And I'm not sure if that always is there on the first time you come in here, but this little figure right here, it pops in and out. That's on entrance. Like, sometimes you'll walk into this room and the thing is there, sometimes not. I'll try to show that off here. Yep, see, it's gone. Is the thing any different? Nope. That's why I specifically looked at it, because I wasn't sure if there would be any note of the shadowy figure off in the distance. And, you wanna have a sit? And, since I know I'm going to need this later, don't worry, it was hooked up to the VCR, not the TV. In other news, the society world is still shaken by the sudden death of Sir Clarence Defoe. Sir Clarence and his wife Julia were found dead last Thursday in Defoe Manor. Our correspondent, Peter Daltrey, has the report. It was just 4 weeks ago this place was a buzz of activity as Sir Clarence Defoe moved in with his new bride, Julia Swanson Defoe. Now, after this shocking tragedy, the place is quiet as the tomb and empty of human life. Sir Clarence had only proven his attachment to the Defoe lineage almost 1 year ago, and since then had been renovating the long-abandoned family mansion in preparation for his marriage. The police have already declared the tragedy as a murder-suicide, although many have insisted that Sir Clarence was incapable of such an act. The debate rages on, while the fate of the house and family fortunes remains unclear. This is Peter Daltrey, BBC News, Defoe Manor. Thank you, Peter. Our top story is the end. Mister. I'm undecided as to whether or not I will consistently do that. But, well, hey, I'll leave it up to you fine folks at home. If you hate it, I'll shut up and let it play. If you love it, I will still probably shut up and let it play at some point when I get tired of it. In the meantime, plot. I would play this in windowed mode so I could click other stuff, but I mean, that is an option, but it would be even smaller than this. I mean, I could switch it to game capture, but I have no idea what chaos that would inflict upon you folks at home. Maybe I should have tested that out at some point, but, well, let's just say that it was a little weird. It was a little weird having this game surrounded by my new Gravity Rush wallpaper. What happened to the music? To be fair to the silliness of this story, Yahtzee did a fairly good job in pulling well, a lot of the stupidity together in the end. Fair enough. Come on, it's like, is there not a... Oh, he's just in front of it. Oh well. It defaults you to the feet. I'm pretty sure there's a key command. There's a keyboard thing, maybe? H for hand? No? Oh well. This line is also funny. Yeah, you would think so. But then they came up with games that make you do all kinds of stupid, illogical shit. Actually, there is one. Oh wow, that lines up interesting. But no, no, no. I don't want to call this post. Nope. Whoa. Hang on. Oh god. Oh, wait, can I? Oh god, I let go of the backspace key like 3 seconds before it stopped. Okay, so that's not a thing. Wait, delete. Okay. There is one thing that I want to try. Okay. Uh, no, okay, that's working. Okay. I. Okay, is that still. Okay, that's still working. Wait a minute, where's. Oh, okay. That's new. Well, not new, but slightly different than it usually is. Oh god. Um. It hurts, it hurts, it hurts. Okay, then. Well, oh my. That is not what I wanted to try, but, good to know that's a thing, and that I should avoid doing that in the future. Okay. I mean, I suppose there's nothing strictly wrong with that, it just looks stupid. Technical difficulties, folks. Let's see. Do. Oh, right, I have to actually. Yeah, because I can't Alt-Tab out of that. So I do have to just kind of hope it works right. Okay, like that. And that is why you save before messing with shit. that in and of itself, it's... I mean, I just wish there was some indication that you had that. Oh, right. It leaves the inventory when you mouse away from it. When your cursor leaves it. Kind of a silly design, but... Once a day, folks. Once a day. Fair enough. Actually, just for the hell of it, let's start the conversation from a weird angle. Ah. Okay, if... Well, I'll save my commentary for... Yes, truly, be the voice of reason. Yeah. There will be no interaction until she is completely out of here. There are quite a few stupid parts in this game. Everyone who's played it knows that. Yahtzee knows that. He admits it. You know, when he cares enough to acknowledge these games' existence. After all, they're very old. It's been a while since he's had to do so. But, couple of issues with that entire conversation, for those of you who are new to this series. Two things she said that simply don't jive well with each other. Yes, I just said jive well. Eh. If Philip mentioned to her that they had a new guest, and she knows that it's so like him to call a house meeting whenever someone new shows up. I mean, why didn't she just go straight to the lounge? Also, I mean... but do you know it is serviceable? I mean, off the top of my head, I forget what order they showed up in, even though Phil just told us. That was me not paying attention to dialogue I've seen a dozen times. Might as well take that. We're gonna need it later. Yeah, it's one of those games. Oh, right, that's later. I'm intentionally going away from plot, just to show a little something off. Lawn, dirt, wall. Oh, hey, an actual area I can click on. But lawn, wall. Literally the only place you actually have to use the feet. How many times do you go there as part of the story? Twice. I'm trying to think of what indication you have that. What the hell? Okay. Thought I turned that off, but whatever. I'm trying to think what indication you have to know you're supposed to do this. Let's look at the tree and see if there's any... Nothing about... Oh, well. I'm trying to remember, and I can't think of anything. But why does the tree get a special response? Is it because... Okay, now I have to. It's probably just going to be... Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna bother. It's just gonna be, it won't answer. I don't remember why I... I just don't remember what is supposed to give you the indication that you're supposed to push the tree. And just talking to the tree doesn't help either. Just without pushing. Why are you going all the way around? Trilby. Welcome to the single dumbest part in the entire game. And I'm gonna make you all sit through it. Just so you know how bad it is. I don't really have... I mean, I do love these games, but especially with 5 days, it's more of a warts and all kind of deal. fact that Trilby's a complete Mary Sue. Once again, acknowledged by Yahtzee as such, at least in this first game, is just cherry on top. Yeah. A few details. Yeah. Oh, you don't just get to ask questions. You have to. See this here? There's a reason that I have a post-expo dump save. Who will I pick first to torture you all with? Might as well just go from left to right. These 3 questions, exact same questions for all 3 of them, and you have to sit through it all. Don't even look at him, Simone. They're not that far gone. And why is Phil acting like that's the first time he's heard that? If it's really his habit to call a house meeting every time someone shows up. Unfortunately, if you make the mistake of clicking on someone you already talked to, you don't have the same options. So you're not going to accidentally find yourself in an endless loop of trying to ask the same person something you've already asked them. A brief but stupid mercy. I mean, the expo dump's about halfway done now, but, Roderick, Philip, Roderick. A treasure hunter must know to get his facts straight. Your scrapbook. Yes, I'm sure you want to remember so well. You want to have fond memories of the time you spent a week trapped in a haunted house. Do we read the article? No, no. Expo dump first. I'm wasting minimal energy on this by just keeping my finger on the 2 button. Doesn't even play music to let the stupid thing go by. Hey, it's cutthroat. Yes, even though I asked the 2 gentlemen sitting next to you already. Okay, there's probably a canonical order that these questions and responses make more sense in, but I do not have the patience to figure that out. Not for the expo dump. Okay. I already have a post-expo dump save, but I want... You know, having a backup post-expo dump, that's not a terrible thing. Wouldn't stop some people. Oh, right. Like, it was half out of my mouth when I remembered that was actually the next line. I'm certainly tired after that expo dump. Speaking of, there wasn't a noise. You could have played a sound effect or something. Post expo dump save. I want another one. I already have a post expo dump save, but you can never have too many of those with this game. Oh, and Mr. Shadow is back. No idea what the hell that's supposed to... I suppose it was just supposed to be a... I suppose it was supposed. Anyway, I guess it was just supposed to be a generic shadowy figure. Especially since the greater lore of this series just wasn't established at this point, not even in Yahtzee's mind. Oh, she arrived, alright. Minister reports... Yeah, I'm legitimately unsure if there's any... if it matters. Oh, right. Treasure Hunting Monthly. The Mystery of Defoe Manor. Defoe Manor, one of the country's more notorious stately homes, is renowned for being a great source of untold wealth. But what is the curse that surrounds the creaking house? The mansion was built in the early 19th century by the legendary explorer Roderick Defoe in celebration of his retirement and marriage. Sir Roderick disappeared along with his only son on the 15th year anniversary of his wife's sudden death. After that, the house fell into the possession of a succession of heirs, most of whom died or disappeared in mysterious circumstances. I guess Roderick had at least one brother. That's not too... Yeah, that's easily believable. The house was left abandoned after the last heir was thought to have died in 1946, until the recent appearance of Clarence Defoe, who managed to prove his connection to the lineage and inherit the house. Oh, that was it. Okay. Day 2 or day 3? Day 3, I want to say. Hey! Library. Not each individual book, but each color. So like this yellow is... Sure. Gardening... Unabridged Oxford Dictionary. Digest of Visual Arts. Okay, fine. Fine, fine. Oops. Nope, nope, nope. Look. While I'm here. Well, fine. A History of the Defoe Family, Volume 7. Roderick Defoe, later Sir Roderick Defoe, is probably the most famous of the lineage. Using a lot of the inheritance he attained when his parents died suddenly, he embarked on a series of adventures throughout the globe, earning quite a reputation as a colonial explorer. He retired from adventuring at the age of 40 when he met his future bride, Belinda Rothman, and fell instantly in love. He built a luxury manor in the English countryside, and the couple moved in as soon as work was complete. By all accounts, the couple were deliriously happy, which is what made Belinda's sudden death while giving birth to her only son, Matthew, all the more tragic. Sir Roderick was in mourning for a long time, leaving the upbringing of Matthew in the hands of numerous nannies and tutors. When he finally did start taking an interest in his son, he was known to be bitterly disappointed, as his son rejected the idea of joining the army, preferring to pursue art and literature. As Matthew neared the age of 15, however, he and his father seemed to grow closer. They didn't always see eye to eye, but they seemed to understand each other and offer unconditional love. And then, on Matthew's 15th birthday, he and Roderick disappeared. A servant found bloodstains in one of the rooms, but no bodies were found. The fate of Sir Roderick and his wayward son remains a mystery to this day, the first of many mysterious disappearances connected to the Defoe line and the family house. Oh, right, I was mid-step. Hey, a chair! Phil mentioned we were running low on those. That is honestly oh. Oh god, is it like... Hello, Pinkastella, Is it like crammed in the top left of the screen? In the top left corner? Pinkastella? I'm not sure how I'm supposed to... Panchostella? Pancastella? I don't know. But is it like crammed in the top left corner? Because I caught a gleam... It's a very old game, low resolution. If I absolutely have to, I will, I suppose, resort to game capture, though that might make it worse. Resolution issues with these kinds of games. You think it looks weird now? Watch this. Alt tab out, click back in, and now suddenly it's even more fucked up. Yeah, that is the resolution. Oy, oy, oy. Looks like I'm gonna have to run it in Windows mode. Maybe game. Whoop. Okay. Maybe game capture will help. Let's see. Game capture. Uh. Huh. Wait, what? No, just leave it alone. No, that's not working at all. Unfortunately, I can't maximize this or make it any bigger. It's like, was that just how OBS is rendering it? Holy crap. Ooh. Or maybe. Okay, let's try this. Not windowed. Yeah, this is the highest resolution it has. 640 by 400. Maybe without the alternate letterbox resolution. Okay. Whoops. Oh, is that it? Oh well. Dear. This is gonna be fun, fun, fun. Maybe this'll help me figure out how bad it really is, though. Okay, how bad is it? Oh, man, that is bad. Okay, and that's without the alternate letterbox setting. Oh dear. Um. But was that better or worse? Probably the same. About the same. Oh dear. I mean, we can have this and chat at least. And whoa, that was odd. You know what? Keep that over there. What's OBS look like? Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much the best I can figure out to do. I mean... Ooh. Of course. Display capture, game capture... Window capture. Okay. Okay, I think I got it. Okay, that's pretty much the best we're gonna be able to deal with. Oh, and then I can put this over here. Okay, that, oh wait, that's leaking over the other side there. Okay, this is better. This is much better. Okay, problem solved. I mean, problem solved an hour into the stream, but still, problem solved. I hope. Please be problem solved. Okay, much better. And there's even an on-screen chat. Huzzah. That's fairly neat. At least for my streams, it is. You never get on screen chat in my streams, it seems. Okay. Only problem is, I'm stuck in that tiny window. Although, if I can get this to... I've got to try it. Because there is now a slight possibility that I can get it in both full screen and have it... Hang on, I gotta... Maybe. Just maybe. Please work. Better. It's better. Ooh, I know what to do. Since we've got chat, it pretty much has to be on screen. I mean, it's either empty space or I find a way to stick the chat on there. I think we would both prefer to have chat than empty space. Although I could just center the game, but this is this is just better. Uh, Another window capture. But yeah, for all the good that does. Okay. I'll stick that on the... Stick that there. Uh, it's a little off, but it works, I suppose. But that will... Get that out of there. Please work. Come on. Slight... Okay. This is good. This works. Put that on top. Get rid of that. And we have... Oh, okay, I think we're good here. I think we're finally good here. Okay. Thank you, Pencastella, and I really hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I would just restart after something so disastrous as a crammed screen like that, but I am not going through the exposition dump again. Oh, wait, no, we had more to talk to her about. Seriously? I mean, she literally just told you that, but that's my own fault for asking these questions in the order they were listed, I guess? I mean, you don't have to ask her these things, but... I could just proceed straight through the plot. Indeed you're not, Malcolm. Yeah. Spoiler for the... Well, not really a spoiler, because it's only mentioned in the commentary what his real name is. Although it's only said that his real name is the same as another character whose real name isn't revealed in the same game he's in either. He really overcomplicated his lore. Kinda sucks too, because he could have done things so much simpler. but, well, we'll get into that much later. Again, I don't have to talk to these people. Do you know where the others are? It gives you the same response no matter what. You go a few years without playing this game, you forget how slow the first one was. Wait, does he still have fun pushing the tree on other days? Apparently. Welcome to the only point in the game where you actually have to use the feet to walk around. And yes, that's what this weird misshapen thing is supposed to be. A pair of feet. Well, that was a bit of an odd turning animation. Yep. You don't, huh? I mean, not yet, but... Yeah, just one thief to another. Always with the plans that fill. For those of you who have never played this before, he is absolutely not always with the plans. Except this one time. I mean, he's right. Oh, heavens no. I mean, he's not wrong. Oh, this dialogue. Now for the reason we're out here. It's an adventure game, and it's an item. It's a point-and-click adventure, and it's an item. It's bound to have some kind of stupid use. And now, even though I was able to pull one book from the library early, I now have to go all the way back. And to be clear, this is almost literally the exact opposite side of the map. Like, all the way from point A to point B. That's a third screen transition, fourth screen transition, fifth, and sixth, up to this little yellow thing, which, I mean, you can look at all of these bookshelves, most of them are irrelevant. Photo albums, old road maps, Encyclopedia Britannica, cookbooks, occults, gardening, and this little yellow section, old architectural plans. I tried to grab this earlier when I was here. And now you go all the way back down. This is a heavily flawed game, and to be fair, Yahtzee knows it full well. It's like, the other games are just better. Actually, let's take a look at it, which probably is the event flag we're really looking for. The tomb is in the front yard, not the back. What might that be, I wonder? Ah, so we have someone who knows the series. Which probably explains why this seemingly random game is getting any viewership. Like, I didn't even bother to check if there are other people streaming it, but today would be the day for it. But, yes, for Pencastella, first off, am I even pronouncing that correctly? Pencastella, Penchostella, Penkhostella, whatever. Like, give me some type of hint if you can, but, since you apparently just got here within the last half hour or so, the current plan is to marathon the 4 main games and then just do Consuming Shadow until Pencostella. Wait, no. Spanish, see. Cha. It's been a few years since my high school Spanish classes. Uh, I am suddenly very sympathetic of streamers who attempt to pronounce my name and I tell them it's the first or the second way you attempted it. Penchostella. Oh, wait, if it's Spanish, if it's a Spanish ch, then it would probably be an a instead of an la. Ella, ella, a b c j. I forget whether it's la a or a ya. So, okay, if it's supposed to be Spanish, then it would be Pinchostea. Oh, the second part is Italian. I did not take Italian at any point in my education. So, okay, so the name's not Spanish, you were just giving me an example to pronounce it. Okay. So, Penchostella. Assuming I even got the emphasis correct. Ah. Ah, okay. So it would be Penchos. Okay. So Penchostella. Look who's up. I just talked to you. Oh, right, now I remember. You're supposed to use the map on him. Oh dear. I'm gonna have to. Oh, I see the problem. Okay. On my second monitor, because of the weird things this game does to my screen resolution, like a very small amount of the chat window is covered up by the. I mean, you could probably see it by now on your own screen since it's also pretty much the same in the OBS setting, but there's just enough of the chat window covered up by another window that it cuts off some of the text. Not sure if it's. I'm not sure if it's worth actually fixing because, yeah. I should definitely fix that. The issue is I can't make the physical window any smaller. At least not horizontally. Okay, hopefully that works. Oh, but that wouldn't work. Okay, it works on my other monitor, but probably doesn't do anything on OBS, does it? No, it does not. Oh wow, it's cut off a bit on both sides. Okay, how do I make this? Move it up one. Oh boy. Uh, that actually kind of works if you're willing to ignore the doubled up. Okay, it needs to be just a little smaller. I mean, it looks weird down here. It looks weird down here, but okay, what if I yeah, there's just nothing to do about that. Oh, wait, no. That'll be blocked. That'll just be pure black. So actually, it's in a pretty good spot right now. Okay, hopefully that will be the end of our technical difficulties. At least for the rest of this game. Benchostella, tell me if you remember, how are you supposed to know to push the tree in the beginning so that you can get get Jim saying hey so you know to talk? Because just talking straight to the tree does nothing, but you remember that, right? When you first meet Jim, I know I'm intentionally going by. I'm intent this. Do you remember how you're supposed to know to do this? Because I just remember needing to do it for this playthrough. I don't remember if the game gives you... Okay, so you literally are just supposed to... Okay, so you can't think of... Like, did he outright say at some point that... Did Yahtzee outright say at some point that it's supposed to frustrate you to the point where you just click on random crap? Because I don't remember how I got it the first time I played this game. Now, I looked at the tree before, it just says, like, it almost reaches the roof or something. Because I specifically checked the look command, and yeah, the branch is reaching all the way to the roof. Or maybe it... Did I check the look command before or after I pushed it for the first time? Yeah, well. Yeah. No, what's really annoying... Oh, there's more cutscene. I thought I had to manually climb the ladder. But, it's not like there are voices for me to be talking over. But what's more frustrating is that There's a certain point a bit later in the game that won't progress unless you've read every scrap of paper and book that's available to you at the time. Because I remember I watched the D-pad play this game once, and it was before they got big. Like pre-legendary Let's Play, not their second run-through of this series. But they spent almost half an hour wandering around until they just... I think it was the newspaper that they didn't read. Like, I never knew until that point that you had to read all that crap. I just did it out of habit. Oh, yeah. And as I've been saying throughout the weirdness of this game, to his credit, he acknowledges that a lot of this game is stupid, and he has greatly improved, even on the sequels, let alone in future projects. Ah! Yeah, the nightmares are definitely pretty good, especially with the fake out if you happen to wander into the bathroom and pull the curtain earlier. Do I have any... No, okay. Yeah, it's... The conversations could use a bit more... Maybe not necessarily music, but something like... The silence is nice, but it's a little too silent. Might as well get the daily TV out of the way. And really, it could have been done better, but I do like how some of the future content from the Chizo mythos retcons a good bit of the things that happen here. Like explaining why AJ. The music is not awful in the entire series. I mean, don't get me wrong, the music is not amazing in most of the series, but it's not awful. Maybe it's awful to an actual musician. But, as I was saying, I do like. It could have been better, but I do like how future content retconned a good chunk of this stuff. Like, explaining why AJ just ran away screaming from you at the beginning of the game. I believe you can now get the at least one of the occult books, supposedly for a laugh. No? Okay. Must be day 4. Do you actually not know who killed AJ? Because that's actually answered in the commentary. I won't say just yet, in case anyone's watching who isn't familiar with the series, but it is actually answered in the commentary. And that's not even a retcon, it's just... I mean, you're right, the game does not give any hints towards who did it, but the game does make it clear that whoever it was, won't say who just yet, but the game does make it clear, not the exact circumstances, but enough. Enough that it doesn't completely make no sense. Oh yeah, the improvement is ridiculous leaps and bounds. Especially considering the fact that 7 Days is almost satirically so a recycled in space sequel. But, I mean, it worked. I forget whether that was an intentional satire at the time, but although, of course, 7 Days was not without its own problems. I mean, like, and so many of those problems, as Yahtzee himself admitted, could have been solved if Jonathan were the ship's engineer instead of its psychiatrist. But, well, now we're discussing the sequel, which. And the sequel definitely is worth discussing, but. Well. I'm not gonna say don't discuss the sequel, but. Let's at least finish ripping on this one first. Master Thief. Dropped his lockpicks and didn't even notice for 3 days. Incidentally, Trilby the Art of Theft is not on the schedule for today. Uh, do I want to go to the library first? Not the library, the other rooms. Uh, out of out of the main four, ooh, hmm. I gotta admit, to a certain extent, I have a natural bias towards originals compared to sequels. But I mean, okay, the first game was certainly not a masterpiece, but it got me interested enough to stay for the sequels. I'm certainly not going to call it my favorite, don't worry. So, in case you're typing out that particular comment. But, as a whole, I would probably say notes. Am I supposed to interact with scratches, or no? And I don't know. I don't know what it was, but there was just some, I cannot put my finger on it to this day, but there was just something about 7 Days that I just wasn't a huge fan of. Speaking of things that the game doesn't give any hint about, like, unless you specifically looked at your Grolly at some point before, you would have no idea that it's even a grappling hook. Oh, no, no, I've played this entire series multiple times. I'm just saying the first time I played it, there was something. The first time I played 7 Days, there was just something off. I just like this dialogue. I didn't forget about the tree, I just like this line. Oh, another really stupid thing. The the activation areas are big enough that in game it doesn't matter as much, but the activation, like the actual cursor, the pointer of this, is not where you would logically think of it, the tip of the umbrella, but closer to the midsection. Also, scroll wheel does nothing. Mildly annoying. Uh, yeah, the use hand, the tip of the middle finger is where you're supposed to point things. Oh, right, this one's duh, because it's Roderick's room, not Matt. I don't know why, but for some reason I thought this was Matthew's diary for a moment. I mean, I know ghost haunting, etc., but you'd think that the Defoe family wouldn't even bother keeping this diary, at the very least, not in the master bedroom for all of these years. Like, you would expect to find it in the library. I mean, it's. I forget when exactly this game came out. Like maybe it was 2005. But we're talking about at least two. We're talking about 200 years at least. Actually, no. Well, this game is supposed to take place in like the 70s or 80s, I want to say. So a little under 200 years in universe. Yes, I'm sure she insisted. Then again, maybe she did. Yes, in June. Totally in June. Not July. Totally not July. I mean, I know he had reasons for the retcon, but I mean, uh, eh. I have the least to say about it because the retcon does make sense out of universe. It's just that you think he could at least, in the special edition, which this is, fix it. Or maybe the special edition was out before he actually retconned it. Is Jim in the library now, or? Yeah. Come to think of it, where the hell's... I forget where Simone is at this point in the game. Well, let's ask Jim. Oh, right, the pool. Now can I get the... Is it day 4, or is it their day 3 event flag? Must be day 4. Because I know already that's the occult section. Should I bother talking to Simone? I suppose I don't have to, but... I made the early viewers sit through the exposition dump. Might as well talk to Simone. Yes, Pinchastella, I did not skip the exposition dump. Oh, does he really go back up to the library if you go down to the pool? Damn it. No. Ah. I've never had him tag along when I went down to the pool. trying to remember because some of the one of the bonus files in the special editions gave AJ's full name. I'm trying to remember what that was. I want to say the J is Jarvis. Honestly, if I were in this situation, I would seriously consider, even if it were my own car, I would consider trying to take that maybe not through the stone wall surrounding the backyard, but maybe through the wood. Then again, supernaturally reinforced wood, probably. Oh, you'll be more than shaken. Then again, both of you will be. Wait a minute. I'm trying to remember the order of events here. Because I know... Okay, so you can do that even when you have no logical reason to. Oh, mood music. Okay. And we finally have something other than dead silence to accompany us. Can I get the book now? Okay. Okay, I'm starting to remember now. It's not day 4. It is day 3, it's just... the salty bear. Mr. Trilby, don't ask. Why did I come in here? Please don't have... Okay. Okay, that did not banish Jim to the... According to the commentary, the tree disappears over the wall and into the ravine that is totally, most certainly there. I would love it if that were just a line that happened if you cut the tree down before going out the window and trying to grapple across the gap. But, hey. Yeah, it's these experimental stages. For those unsure, Jim will also not follow you down into that chamber with the dirt and the manacles. Really? What door? This should be the last piece of it. He always gets cross on this weird day that comes a month before... well... apparently his tutors didn't get to teach him his calendar correctly. Yeah, that's what's it. Okay, so this is of course what's supposed to get you to go through the thing in the kitchen. The hole. It was quite good, which is the best thing he has ever said. Wow, what a dick. And that reference is going to go over a lot of people's heads. Oh, who am I kidding? There aren't a lot of people in this chat. There aren't a lot of people here for it to go over the heads. I already mentioned the D-pad. Okay, there we go. I'm guessing this is the event flag that lets you get the book. It's been a while since I played this one. I remember all the steps, just not necessarily the correct order. Yep, there we go. And now, the Salty Bear. And people in the chat, Pentrostella or other people, was this really that complicated? Because I remember the FAQ for this game literally just has a section that says, "But how do I?" and instantly interrupts the question and gives the instructions for the salty bear. It's practically a meme about how supposedly unintuitive it is, but the book literally spells out what you're supposed to do. People who have played this game know why I went down there instead of back upstairs. Yeah, the book literally tells you exactly how to do it, and yet it was still apparently too complicated. Yeah, I suppose it's possible that you don't... For those who have never played this game, this is supposed to be the beginning of a basically Marco Polo hot and cold game. Basically a hot and cold game, but I know exactly where to go, so I'm just gonna skip that crap. But, yeah, I guess maybe you don't immediately realize that the bear belongs to Matthew, even though other possessions of the ancient Defoe family have found their way into the house of modern day, and the bear is in the same room as the Diary of Matthew Defoe. How far to the south? How the hell far am I supposed to go here? Northwest. Okay. This is so finicky too. Southwest. Southwest, you moron. West, not east. So here? Straight down, okay. Plus, I mean, you would have had to wave the salty bear over the manacled area to find him. Does it take me straight there, or do I have to go out the... Okay. But yeah, and... not just how the things react. Like, earlier on, I tried to preemptively tie the stick to the cord, just because you can get them almost immediately. And... well, if I were to use this book on, say, the salty bear, they won't go together. They won't go together. They won't go together. Meanwhile, when I tried to use the stick on the cord, it said something like, "I can't think of a reason to do that." Hey, Phil, I forget if there's a... No, there isn't. Like, Big Crash, which he heard from almost literally the exact opposite point in the house. no option to ask people if they saw it. Ooh. I wonder... Because I don't remember if I've ever tried this before. Does anything happen if you have Jim with you when you go to grab the idol? Wait for him to catch up. Or like, does he say something like he'll get a broom or something? Because he does... Did I watch TV today? I think so. Yes. Go pick it up, Jim. It probably doesn't do anything different, because Yahtzee probably didn't think of it. What do you think we should do about that broken glass over there? No? Okay. Just idol, not glass. Okay, fine. It would be amazing if... It'd be amazing if there was some kind of alternate story bit if you happen to have Jim with you, which logically you would have no reason to ever go back up and get him. Like where... Well, I won't spoil it for the 10 seconds or so it'll take to... Oh, he has a dial. Okay, he does have like a... I'll go get a broom. He did think of it. Never mind. Day 5. I kid. Waking up in a garden shed wondering what happened last night. Well, there are worse ways to wake up. It's not even a salty teddy. You can't lick it for sustenance. And, again, that reference is going to go over the head of anyone who's not familiar with the D-pad. And even if you are familiar with the D-pad, that was one of their older videos back before the legendary Let's Play put them on the metaphorical map of YouTube. But before I get involved in the thing that happens here, I will point out a few things, Benchostella. I'm not sure if you mentioning who killed AJ was you actually not knowing, but I mean, Yahtzee confirms in the commentary that it was an idol-possessed Philip. And it is totally hinted at in the game, though not obviously so. The moment AJ's corpse is found, Philip immediately becomes very hostile, accusing everyone else around him of being the killer because he knows he did it. He's being very defensive, almost to the point of projection. He may not remember actually doing the deed, but, I mean, you wake up with a bloody machete in your hand next to a corpse. Well, a man of Philip's level of moral character instead of saying, holy crap, possessed idol, well, that the possessed idol part is probably less moral than would they believe me. But yeah, instead, he decided to hide the body and pretend it never happened. Okay, these doors don't have the doors. Well, he probably picked it up at some point. Because, I mean, Yahtzee. Trilby comments early on if you try to pick up the idol that he'd have to break the glass. But, I mean, maybe he did. Let's remember Treasure Hunter. Ancient African idol. Might be worth a little something. Admittedly, it does not make sense that he was then able to put the idol in the glass case. But yeah, that setup doesn't make as much sense. The setup to it doesn't make as much sense. But there is a certain amount of it that... Oh, he can see his car there. Hooray. Yeah, I know. But... Well, as I said, yeah, it's a little forced. But at the same time, yeah, I'm not going to try and justify the glass not being broken, but I will say that the 90% of the pieces of the puzzle are there, enough to make... It's more one of those in hindsight things than it is enough to figure it out on your own. Yeah. Oh, we're already... I'm going to intentionally fail the conversation because I forgot that I forgot which one launched you into it. I'm not sure if this is required, but I at least want to establish for anyone that might be watching that hasn't played this why this conversation that I jumped out of ends with you getting your tie back. Or maybe it would have gone differently if you went straight into it. I don't know, and... well, too late now. I'm not reloading way back to... I don't even remember when the last save was. Might have been day 2. Another thing that doesn't make sense is the nightmare in the transition from day 1 to day 2. Trilby sees the welder when the welder takes the mask off, it's himself. But Simone also sees Trilby. Now, that potentially points to Trilby being the one possessed and killed AJ, even though we know by word of God that it was Philip. So it should logically, if they were all going to see one person instead of just seeing themselves, and yeah, it's a good effect. It is definitely a good effect. I like it. But unless it was an intentional red herring, if they were all going to see one person, it should have been Phil. Goodbye, Tylus Trilby sprite. Well, the thing is, honestly, it's not even an inconsistency. It's just something that would make a little more sense given an out-of-game, well, technically in-game since it's the in-game author commentary, but still more or less out-of-game revelation. Also, for those who haven't played with the commentary on, this right here is the same dead Philip sprite from that nightmare we were just talking about. And if you haven't noticed the evolving painting by now, you're bound to when you walk in there. Yeah, of course it's only for effect at the time, and it was a good effect. Now, another one of those zero indication of what you're supposed to do things, but it does make a lot more sense. It makes a bit of sense in the idea of he's literally wandering around the entire house looking for anybody. But yeah, here's where you're supposed to go to progress. And so you wandered away from the shed, despite the fact that you thought that the guy you thought killed a man was trying to get you away from the shed. I was aiming for him, but whatever. So yeah, one of only 2 times in the game where you can actually die. Hence why I saved right before that. you're supposed to do is literally pull the rug out from under him. Yeah, that's now that I think of it, that's another thing that's kind of a theme throughout the series, with the exception of the final game, where any deaths are just they just warp you back to your bed with a not a jump scare, catapult awake as if from a nightmare thing. And of course, at any point in the second game, you can shoot yourself out the airlock into the vast depths of space. In each of the first 3 games, there's a theme where there are only 2 moments in the story where you are in any danger of actually dying. Or was there a third in... Okay, wait, no, there was a third one. I forgot about the chair. Now, for those who've never played before, the conversation... This is not one of those fail conversation just to get all the dialogue moments. This is... The conversation will continue and cease with her just telling you the correct answers if you get it wrong. So I'm just gonna get the correct answers. Now, people say that that line about the the youngest of Roger, people say that one line of the younger of Roderick's children not being able to tell people apart is a plot hole or a contradiction to in the last game, where it's made very explicitly clear that he can tell people apart. But again, we have it explained in the commentary that this is just Trilby speculating. No, no, he was not. Yeah, you want to talk about his mind? I don't know what prosopagnosia is. Prosopagnosia? Never heard of it, but maybe I'll give it a shot. Ah, but yeah, it's actually. I mean, Trilby speculates that he can't tell one person from another because he's just gone insane from all the beatings and such, and the murderous rage. But as I'm sure you're aware, the fourth game pretty definitively disproves that theory. So Yahtzee came in to clarify that this is just Trilby speculating. Although that does retroactively beg the question of why he winds up killing a bunch of people who he's never met. I mean, you liked the. Well, I suppose it's less that he liked the place before, but before he thought it was just kind of like boarding school. Can I get it now? Okay. I'll read that later. Why you can't just cut this leather strip off with a machete? I suppose it doesn't. No. Wait, what do you mean they won't go together? Oh, did I accidentally try using it on the book? Eh. At the very least, he got the insane part right, probably. Yep, and on day 5. Like, if you somehow managed to not notice that the young portrait of Sir Roderick had become a bloody skeleton, well, then you still probably didn't notice it was a. If you managed to not notice that transition, then you probably still didn't notice that it became a blank canvas the next day. Well, okay, I guess I should explain why the hell I'm doing the salty bear trick with the killer's stuff. Because this book is what explains it for you. Why you need the body. Murderous wraiths are nigh indestructible when they can hop from body to body, but tying them down to their old bodies returns them to a partial mortality, a state in which they can be destroyed. Simply enough, place the spirit's original body in a place of fire and death. Return its old clothes, then read aloud the following passage, omitting nothing. Use the book on myself. Other unquiet spirits who will haunt those who hold their possessions. And that is a very subtle hint that I will freely admit my first time playing, I completely missed out on. And then I wound up just intentionally failing the thing a few times once I did realize it, just to see what would happen. Because I do that. I do that a lot. And again, I'm going to skip the wandering around Marco Polo game by just going to the... I mean, I understand having bodies buried in the manacle room, which was bricked over, not being discovered for almost 200 years. But this... all the other crap in this game that's stupid. Yeah, but all the other crap in this game that's really stupid does not hold a candle to the suspension of disbelief required for this moment right here. There was a corpse in the bathroom tiles. In a place that we know was just recently being renovated in preparation for Clarence Defoe to move in. Bad people, or maybe just really bad at their jobs. Or maybe he got a really sucky contractor that intentionally shorted him on the work. Or maybe the renovations technically weren't finished and Roderick didn't actually move in yet. We don't have the newspaper anymore, so I can't check on that particular fact. A shadow figure. I mean, I guess the animal heads are supposed to be what calls it a room of fire and death, because the real death that happened in this house was in the manacle room, and I guess also in the bathroom. And the kitchen, if you count Phil. And wherever the hell Phil killed AJ. Maybe that's the excuse. Because I doubt any of these animals died in this room. So, here's what happens if you're a really dumb person like I was my first time playing, and you just go straight to the ritual. Oh, I haven't given him back his stuff yet. Well, now I wonder what happens. No? Okay. of course, Trilby giving him back the machete, that's all on him being a dumbass. Let's see how well I remember this incantation. Let's see. In this hall of death, and by the light of Prometheus' gift, I summon thee. I bring thee gifts to tempt thee back. I bring thee thy... something like that. This hall of death, by the light of Prometheus' gifts, I call thee, not summon thee. I bring thee gifts that may tempt thee back. Okay. Armor, thy be clothed, thy sword that they'd be armed. Okay. It's been at least a few years since I've played this, so I'm legitimately impressed I managed to remember that. And gonna skip the failure montage that I put myself through once I realized the correct answer. Oh, I forgot to watch TV on day 4. Oh well. Hey, what am I supposed to be doing again? Because I got this whole plan that I've told you nothing about, but I want to know but I want you to tell me what I was doing. We didn't ask her how she's feeling. Yeah. For those who haven't gone through that failure montage, if you fail it while Simone and or Jim are in the room, they basically just ask, "Hey, what are we supposed to do now?" And then he stabs you again. Oh, really? Because, I mean, when I first played these games, I was already familiar with Yahtzee because of zero punctuation, so... I mean, I already knew to include British voices. And Trilby, especially at first, was basically Yahtzee's Mary Sue author avatar. So I just gave him his voice. Which is still pretty much canon. So, skipping the failure montage. I gotta admit, I'm not sure why it became so popular, but, I mean, I enjoyed it. So, skipping the failure montage, what you're supposed to do is give Matthew's bear to Jim. And yes, Ventricella, I know full well you know this, but gotta keep the people who haven't played this game in mind. And you take the literal Chekhov's gun. And you shoot Simone in the face. Oh, wait. I don't know about big guns. Now remember, folks, other angry spirits who will possess those who hold their possessions. Well, the reason it's called zero punctuation, the reason it's called zero punctuation is because he talks so fast. But the original reason he talked so fast was literally just because he was so nervous. He was trying to get through his early reviews quickly and efficiently. But he was so nervous, he wound up talking really fast. Then that evolved into just being his style. Click. Usually when you point a gun at someone and you hear a click when you pull the trigger, usually that means it didn't work. Why don't you have a seat right over here? Death, of course, comes to us all. You think this music's cringy? Really? I like it. I also like this little almost fake out at the end. I mean, I guess I kind of understand where you're coming from there, but... Is it waiting for me to click? Yep, there it goes. And just for fun, why not? The music doesn't change. I've never, I don't want to say never, but weird. Oh well, I'd rather have this music than no music, which is what you get when you normally play this thing. He did explain that. Mind you, he wouldn't have had to explain it if he had just thrown some damn food in the fridge. Well, that was 5 Days a Stranger. Special edition for all the difference it makes, which is next to nothing. So, here's what I'm going to do, mostly just to make exporting the stream to YouTube a little easier and separating it out a bit. I'm going to cut the stream here, but then almost immediately start up another stream after I've changed the category from 5 days to 7 days. So in the VODs and all that, and the YouTube exports, it'll be counted as different, but for you guys, I'll only be offline for a little under a minute.